We work with a very inspiring foundation in India called Selco Foundation. Selco Foundation is led by one of the most inspiring change leaders of India called Harish Hande. And when we started debating this topic of climate and its implications, we had a realization that in the global south, when we talk of climate, we talk of how do you reduce the impact on the planet, the greenhouse gas emissions, but we are worried that it will have implications for slowing down the economy, because then people think that less carbon means less growth, and or we say no, global south must continue growth because we have to serve people. And so if you drive growth, economic growth, then it will have higher impact on the planet. But the third thing which we never talk about is what happens to inequity in both of these things. What about inequity? What about justice to people? Because one can optimize greenhouse gas emissions or optimize GDP, but what about distribution of resources to people? If you put all the three together on one graph, it creates a very interesting situation where the solution that you really want is the one that reduces greenhouse gas emission, increases economic growth, and reduces inequity at the same time, right? I call it the perfect design challenge. It's easy to optimize one line, or maybe with a lot of thinking optimize two lines. It's very hard to optimize all the three lines. But if you're good designers and we are thinking about designing the future, then we have to optimize all the three lines. And that's how we started a very aspirational program in India called Climate Responsive Livelihoods. The idea was to optimize all the three lines, which means that there should be an increase in livelihoods. People should get more income. But as they get more income, the load on the planet should come down and the distribution of income should go up. So we designed a whole program, a blueprint around it on how you do that by using different types of energy constructs, innovations, role of technology, networks, government schemes, entrepreneurship, micro-entrepreneurship, etc., etc. And we said, let's pilot it. Let's try it out. So as we speak, we are currently piloting it in one state of India called Meghalaya to create 150,000 jobs, which are climate responsive in nature. And that's happening because of a whole different system of how you look at these three questions: equity, economic growth, and greenhouse gas emissions. The point I wanted to make here was that when we think of climate, there are different programs and initiatives that look at optimizing one of the three things. What we need is for people to sit together and say, how do you find the intersection of all three and do that? Because if you do one and ignore the other two, it will just not scale, because the resistance, if you only focus on saying CO2 emission, then the society will push back, because people need to survive, they need to thrive, they need economic growth. You can't pull it back. If you drive economic growth, then the planet will lash back, right? If you look at only that. And if you try to create very specialized solutions that are very expensive and sophisticated, that they do greenhouse gas emission with economic equity, but to a very few people, then inequity will increase, because very few people will benefit from that. So we're looking for simple solutions which are good for the planet and can serve millions of people. I believe that every country and the designers and innovators in every country should take that as a challenge. It's an innovation challenge. And that innovation will lead us to think about better uses of technology, better uses of new innovations, better ways of connecting with people, better ways of working together, better ways of collaborating, co-creating, because it is not a simple problem to solve. And so that has been a very important question. And then we are building the model such that we can take it to any state. Many states in India are probably bigger than some of the countries in Africa. Then how can we take it to Africa? So we are trying to build a model that can be taken to any state, anywhere in the world, unbundled and reassembled for the context of that state, because every state is different. They're not same. So it is not a template. It is like Lego. Like you play Lego, you have the box of bricks. It's like a Lego box. So you take it to a different country, so you open the box, and then you make a new toy out of it. And then you take it to the next country, you make another toy out of it. But the building blocks make it easier, less expensive, less time, less design load. And we can put the money to design new Lego boxes and new Lego bricks, which don't exist in this set. So every time we go to another state or another country, instead of making the same Lego brick again, we make a new Lego brick, which can be used in another country. So we are hoping in the next few years, we would take this challenge in a different way. That's one axis. But then there's the other axis of people who are already working, like farmers. And how do you ensure that the climate responsive livelihood is a part of the farming ecosystem? Because they're already in motion. The economic construct is clear, but the climate construct has to be brought in. That requires diffusion of knowledge, increasing coordination, and improving trust. And that's where we've been using AI. Recently, we launched the Open AgriNet, which is the Open Agricultural Network, which serves about 150 million farmers of India to help them learn and understand how to do things better, how to do things differently, how to access resources, how to access schemes. Again, the same question, that if a farmer wants to optimize for income equity and planetary impact, do they have access to the resources to be able to do it? And we believe today, in this day and age, AI can be the assistant to help people understand. Farmers don't have to have the capacity to be a climate scientist, right? But they need to get that knowledge. And they need to get that knowledge by just talking rather than some sophisticated searches on portal. They can't do that. And so we have now rolled it out. It's a very interesting experience. I think we are about 5 million farmers at the moment who are engaged with this network, learning, applying. So I think this question around the climate, its intersection with livelihoods, is a question true for the entire continent of Africa, all the countries here, Brazil included, and for India and for Southeast Asia, because our economy is agrarian economies, right? We are built with that. And it's not only an agrarian economy, it's a smallholder farmer economy. It's not these large aggregated industrialized farming economies. So the response has to be different. Yeah, but that's the entire excitement that I think we are at the edge of cracking something. If we get it right, then probably we can make solutions which are people and the planet, and not people or